Woman King is from director Gina Prince Bythewood, who also did The Secret Life of Bees, Love and Basketball, and The Old Guard. It was written by Dana Stevens, who did Fatherhood, based on a story by actress Maria Bello. It's the true story about a group of female African warriors fighting against slavers. And fortunately, this rare instance of the director going into action movies is probably much better than The Old Guard, a movie which I remember liking and making a video saying that I liked it, but don't remember much else about it. So basically your average big Netflix movie. This one's much better. This is a little more historical epic than full-blown action movie. It stars Oscar winner Viola Davis, and she does not phone this one in. This has all the acting and production design of a movie with Oscar ambition, but has a few fight scenes in there too. I guess a good comparison would be Gladiator or something. And the fight scenes are really good. They are intense and brutal. Some parts of them can feel like the blood may have been toned down to get a PG-13 rating, but most of it pushes that rating with its violence, so it kind of balances out. I guess my main complaint is that between the fights there are parts that could get a little boring. The plot does drag a bit in the first half. It's over 2 hours and could probably have been shortened a little. But despite that, this is still a great movie. It's a fun action film about African warriors fighting back against the slave trade, which I guess might sound like a sort of more grounded RRR, but it more closely resembles more serious war period pieces, and it definitely succeeds at being one of those.
Sears Flex Slacks make you look great. No matter who you are, they flex, they bend. The fit's incredible, and so's the price. Just $15.99.
Incredible.
This week, only at Sears.
She-Hulk Attorney-at-Law has just finished its run, or at least just its first season, fingers crossed, on Disney+. It was created by Jessica Gao, a writer for Rick and Morty, Silicon Valley, and Robot Chicken. This one's a bit different from the rest of the Marvel Universe. Rather than the action comedy stuff that has been the face of this franchise, this one is full-on comedy with the titular character having no interest in fighting evil. While there is the occasional action scene, they are not the focus of the show or even the episode they're in. In my Letterboxd review, I jokingly called it Marvel's Harvey Birdman, and that comparison kinda gets more accurate as it goes on. In addition to the obvious comparisons with the concept, with the superhero working as a lawyer, this also has the same silly tone. Like that show, it juxtaposes adult courtroom stories with more fantastical superhero concepts, which often has amusing results. The half-hour episodic format further emphasizes this show as a comedy. It's also the rare Disney Marvel show that feels like an actual series and not a 6-hour movie. That being said, I understand how that change in tone might be divisive. Not to mention the admittedly not great special effects. I personally really like this turn. The last Thor movie gets a lot of hate for not taking itself seriously, while She-Hulk doesn't really need to take itself seriously. There are no end-of-the-world stakes, just ridiculous courtroom comedy and occasionally the heroine's personal life. That being said, it does occasionally deal with some serious topics such as the incel community and sexism. Not a lot, but enough for one to definitely take notice. And the introduction of Daredevil is a definite high point. It would appear that he's still in good hands. It might not end up being as good as what Netflix did with him, but the future's still looking bright. And of course that final episode. That was some of the best action I've ever seen. Truly astounding. My heart was pounding. Okay, but seriously, I liked how by the end they were fully committed to going full silly with the end. It's anticlimactic, but that's by design. It really cements itself as something different. I mean, I don't want it to be like the end of WandaVision where it just changes direction from the rest of the show and becomes a generic superhero fight. The show's not perfect, but it's a great departure from the standard formula. It's so involving you might not even care about the subpar effects, and it doesn't require too much knowledge of the universe to understand what's going on. Maybe just the Hulk and vague knowledge of everything else. It's an interesting comedy series that revels in the silliness of the concept and of the universe. This is getting the same rating as Woman King, but I'm not implying that it's high art like that was. This show has lower goals, and I think it did as good a job at reaching them. Also, if I don't get any Patreon followers, I might get angry. And you won't like me when I'm angry. Link in the description.